Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Cyrax, and we're back with another Mortal Kombat 1 video. So in this video, we're going to be going over the bios of Cyrax, Sektor, and Noob Saibot. And then we'll also be talking about some stuff that I seen from the trailer that I thought was interesting and that I want to talk about, right? So starting off with Cyrax, we're going to be going over their bio first. Also, if you haven't already, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We go over like a bunch of Mortal Kombat stuff, more lore oriented, but we still have gameplay and guides and stuff like that we put up every now and then. For sure, I'm putting up like guides for Sektor, Noob, and Cyrax. Especially Sektor. Sektor is my favorite character out of the three. Even though Mortal Kombat, and like originally Noob Saibot used to be my favorite, but Sektor just over time took over that spot. But anyways, let's jump into Cyrax's bio. It's free will, Cyrax, free thinking Lin Kuei. Cyrax was born into the Zaki, one of the Lin Kuei's many subclans. For generations, it has maintained a quiet presence in Niger's Arab mountains. You gotta be careful when you say that word, boy. That shit is dangerously close to some shit you shouldn't be saying. Anyways, where it stands ready to defend Earthrealm. A martial arts prodigy, Cyrax was the youngest of Zaki to ever become an active Lin Kuei warrior. That success earned her an invitation to serve directly under Sektor. Cyrax seized the opportunity with her trademark vigor, but while her skills have endeared her to Sektor, her independent streak has not. Despite Sektor's best efforts to break it, Cyrax will remain untamed and she will serve Lin Kuei on her terms or not at all. Obviously, she's a free will thinker, and like she doesn't want to bend to the rules of like master and servant type thing. That's basically what I got from that, and that like she wants to handle like serving the Lin Kuei in her own way. That's interesting. It's not too far off from what the original Cyrax was, so that's pretty cool. All right, so let's jump into Sektor. Perfection. Sektor, master armorer of the Lin Kuei. Sektor grew up immersed in Lin Kuei culture. Her mother was a leading warrior. Her father was his master armorer. Sektor marveled at his flawless work apprenticing with him. She eventually surpassed her father's skills. When he retired, she took his place. But Sektor also wanted to honor her mother's legacy. Now her vast knowledge of weaponry and formidable martial arts skill makes Sektor a combatant like no other. Sensing Sektor was a kindred spirit, Sub-Zero shared with her his grand vision for Lin Kuei's future. She joined his efforts immediately. Now Sub-Zero's most trusted lieutenant, Sektor will force Lin Kuei to evolve. Those who cannot change will be eliminated. So obviously this is basically OG Sektor. This which is interesting. Their bios have not changed that much. Like Sektor has become pretty much almost the exact same as her previous timeline. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So let's check out that was Sektor's. I think that's it. Sektor Cyrax's bio hasn't really changed. It's very similar to how they used to be. Obviously they never really fleshed out the backstories of like where they're from and like growing up, but like it's very similar to how they would be in the previous timeline. As Sub-Zero, Bihan was Lin Kuei's ruthless grandmaster. He dreamed of making his clan a dominant force in Earthrealm. But Bihan and his dreams died at the hands of a godly Havoc from another timeline. This Havoc stole Bihan's soul, using it to create the perfect henchman, Noob Saibot. Like his created, Noob Saibot is dedicated to the fomenting anarchy. He will not rest until all forms of authority are eradicated. Sub-Zero, Bihan was Lin Kuei's ruthless grandmaster. He dreamed of making his clan a dominant force in Earthrealm, but Bihan had his dreams died at the hands of a godly Havoc from another timeline. This Havoc stole Bihan's soul, using this to create the perfect henchman. So, okay, the way this bio is reading is like that he kidnapped Sub-Zero and like forced and killed him, and then resurrected him as Noob Saibot. But if you look at the trailer, it doesn't even look like he's worried about it. Does that make sense? Stole Bihan's soul, using it to create a perfect henchman, Noob Saibot. But I don't know, this is interesting just because like Havoc doesn't really practice sorcery from what I can tell. So like how would he use soul magic to create Noob Saibot? Like I understand like Shang Tsung or Quan Chi being able to do it, but Havoc? That's interesting. And I'm sure these bios are gonna be updated because they're very short compared to like, you know, someone like Takeda, or yeah, like they're short compared to them. So I'm sure they'll update these bios, but the initial, you know, impact of like these bios, they're interesting to read the least. Sektor and Cyrax are very similar to how they used to be. Whereas Noob, I mean, it's similar to how his previous timeline was. I was expecting something different. It's saying that he was pretty much, he got kidnapped by Havoc and killed by Havoc and turned him into Noob Saibot against his wills. I wonder how they're gonna do it in the story. Like, I'm very interested in seeing how they actually do this in the story. But anyways, moving on to like what we're actually here to talk about is basically implications in the story of the things that I've seen there, right? I watched this trailer maybe like, well, maybe 20, so at least 20 plus times, because I wanted to like really sit there and just kind of just like understand what I was looking at with this new trailer compared to like the actual release of the original Chaos Rings trailer, right? So in this trailer is mainly focused on Cyrax, and like it's kind of like showing that Cyrax is almost exactly like Kuai Liang. Like, she holds the same traits and the same like pretty much ideals and morals as Kuai Liang, but she didn't leave. And like there's some kind of confusion going on because of how Scorpion left the clan, right? So during this breakdown, we're just gonna go through it bit by bit and just see like what exactly is happening in each of the scenes, right?
Where are you?
Over here.
So what I find interesting about this clip right here, right, is Cyrax is asking where Sektor is. Meanwhile, Sektor is just kind of like hiding and like almost like an assassin, but pretty much like going back to her days as the original Sektor in previous timelines, where she would like be more of an assassin role, you know, camouflage tactics, attacking from behind, sneaking around to kill the targets. That's pretty much like what is going on here, which is why Cyrax is like, why are you doing? It's like kind of like, what are you doing? Like, this is not how the Lin Kuei is supposed to fight. Lin Kuei are warriors. Lin Kuei's fight each other like head up, like, you know, 1v1 type shit. And like this, like right here, it's a little different. Like, she just not understanding why Sektor is fighting the way that she is.
Fighting your foe unseen, attacking from a distance. There are rules.
Yeah, see, like right there, where she's like kind of explains like there are rules to engagement between Lin Kuei members, and that's basically upheld by the old Lin Kuei with the Sub-Zero's grandfather, or not grandfather, but father, where like Lin Kuei would fight head up. Like, there's no, that's like hiding and sneaking around. It's a dishonor. That's kind of like the route that they're taking in this, you know, between the old Lin Kuei and the new Lin Kuei. And old Lin Kuei, I'm talking about like in terms of like previous timelines where they would sneak around. They were assassins, so they did anything to be able to get their target. Versus in this timeline where they're not, they're warriors. They fight head up and they fight with honor. Like, so like it's weird. It's hard for Cyrax to like understand like what is going on with the Lin Kuei now that Bihan's back. Because ever since Bihan got back, the Lin Kuei started to change.
We have found Kuai Liang and his Shirai Ryu. They gather at the Wuxi for his wedding.
Attack his wedding. We may win the battle, but find we lose the war. No one will respect us.
Better to be feared than respected.
So this part I find interesting, right? Let's go back a little bit here. I'll turn the music off so the volume off so you guys can hear me. So we have them talking about how they found the Shiryu, and they're going to be holding Scorpion's wedding at the Wuxi Academy, right? So I imagined Cyrax has this. She's having a hard time adjust to Kuai Liang being a traitor when Kuai Liang is with Lord Liu Kang and all that. So I'm sure that she's been questioning it throughout the time that Kuai Liang's been missing. And like I said, like I think there's a time difference in this whole story compared to like the original story. So basically, this is Sub-Zero saying that, okay, we're gonna attack the Kuai Liang at his wedding and pretty much just end this whole rivalry, which I think is interesting because like you're going to attack them when they're at their strongest. you're gonna have all these Earthrealm warriors, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Raiden, freaking Kenshi there, with monks, with the Shiryu, with more than likely Lord Liu Kang being there. So you're literally, it's weird. You would think they would attack at a point where it's only the Shiryu. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that that's what I don't really think this is a smart move. And as we see further in the trailer, Sub-Zero is actually at this attack. So this attack happens before he becomes Noob Saibot. So let me see Scorpion and right here. See Scorpion and Harumi. And then, like, obviously Cyrax has a problem with attacking Kuai Liang at his wedding. See, look, we see Raiden right here in the distance. We see Johnny Cage here. I wonder who's gonna be. I imagine it would be Lord Liu Kang that announces that, you know, does the vows for both Kuai Liang and Harumi. Unless they have some kind of priest. I don't know. This is Mortal Kombat. And we see, like, the Shiryu here. We see what you call it, Shaolin monks all over the place here, which I think is interesting. And, like, basically we see Sub-Zero's henchmen kind of like this just starting to surround the wedding right here, right? So we got the first of the Lin Kuei here. And then, like, Cyrax is just obviously having a problem with this part. It's just like, hey, it's like, we may win this battle, but we'll lose the war. Because, like, the whole point, she's like, oh, I thought the whole point was to get respect from everyone. He's like, you want to attack Kuai Liang? It's gonna dishonor the Lin Kuei, especially at a wedding. Like, that's crazy. And then, like, Sub-Zero just doesn't care, right? Sub-Zero's like, it's better to be feared than respected, which I think is interesting because this just reminds me of how the old Lin Kuei was. Like, the old Lin Kuei didn't care about respect. They wanted to be feared. They wanted people to know that you don't mess with the Lin Kuei. And that's basically what this is showing me so far. And then, like, obviously, I think what's happening here is Cyrax is not a part of this attack. Like, Cyrax comes in later on. And that's why, like, during the original trailer, we see Cyrax jumping off a roof, which I thought was interesting. I was like, okay, so why wouldn't Cyrax be with the main force? Why is she just climbing up a roof to jump into attack? And I think what's happening here is that everybody sees Cyrax's armor. They're like, okay, so she's got to be with them. And because, like, Sektor and the Lin Kuei are attacking, you know, the Shiryu and the Wuxi Academy, and they're just gonna attack first without asking any questions. Meanwhile, like, I'm sure, like, Cyrax is trying to, like, talk some sense into them without having to fight them. But you know, that's just how Mortal Kombat does things. So you have to beat them up and then finally talk to them. See, like, we got Kung Lao, we have Kenshi, we have Raiden, and we have freaking Johnny Cage. We have all these warriors, and Sub-Zero decides to attack at this point. It's just weird. Why? It's just like bad. It's bad planning, in my opinion. If you're going to attack the Shiryu, like the old, like, Sub-Zero or Quan Chi attacked the Shiryu when they were by themselves. Like, this just seems like a bad plan. And this is the part, obviously, where they're gonna, like, just having to fight Johnny Cage to get him to, like, understand what she's trying to tell him. And I think right here she's trying to tell him that about what's going on with I think she was trying to rush to tell them before Kuai Liang and not before Kuai Liang, but before Bi-Han and Lin Kuei came, but she was just a little too late. Because I think after that fight, like, you know, it took her a lot longer to get back to Earthrealm. Oh, not to Earthrealm, but back to where the Shiryu are. Okay, so this part I really like. I like this part because I like the emotion that they show in it.
How long have we known each other? That you could ever believe
You vanished without explanation. Bi-Han, my Grand Master, gave me one.
You blame me for your actions?
I just think this part is just sick, dude. The way that they really had these actors play this part. I feel like this is the most emotion I've seen in the Mortal Kombat 1 story. Like, Mortal Kombat 1 story was good, but it just didn't have, like, it didn't have moments where it made you feel anything, if that makes sense. I feel like one thing Mortal Kombat 11 did was, like, it made you feel, right? when Scorpion died, when Sonya died, like it made you feel, you know, it made you feel something. Where in MK1, I'm trying to remember if there was any points where it made me feel anything, because like I never felt like there was a point where you would really lose, or like was there any real stakes, you know, that you couldn't overcome. Because like I feel like there's so many good characters in the game that like it just seemed little, I don't know, it just didn't make me feel anything. That's what I'm trying to say. And like this part here, it makes me feel something, especially when you look at the fact that how this conversation goes, and basically Scorpion is like you've known me forever, and like you think I would do something. I assume when Sub-Zero went back, he lied about why Kuai Liang left, which obviously is obvious. You know, he's not gonna tell him the truth of what happened, about how he let the old Grandmaster die, and how like he betrayed Earthrealm. I'm pretty sure none of that happened. So my thing is, I think he lied and just said that he just abandoned Lin Kuei and gave him some bullshit reason. Who knows what the actual reason was? And like they didn't really show it in the trailer. You just kind of like get a hint that he said something. He's like, how long have you known me? You should know, like, I didn't do something like that. And then she's like, you vanished with no trace. You didn't talk to us or nothing. You just disappeared. And like the only person that was there after he left was Sub-Zero. So obviously that she's gonna follow Sub-Zero, her commander, which is, I think it's interesting when you look back at Mortal Kombat 9's story, where he was kind of like vehemently against going with the Cyber Initiative, which he ended up rebelling against Lin Kuei, which is what she does too eventually. Don't get that twisted. Like she just rebel, but like I just think it's interesting how she just follows suit, and it seems almost like she's blaming Kuai Liang for her actions, which I think is kind of interesting, you know. And then like, Kuai Liang even says it. He's like, "You're blaming me for the actions you took," and you know, I just think that's interesting. She should have gone like, if basically what should have happened is like Scorpion should have handled that better. If I'm being honest. Like, he could have handled it better with disappearing from the Lin Kuei by, you know, handling it a little bit smoother. Instead, he just kind of abandoned the Lin Kuei and didn't give no reasons to Sektor or Cyrax and what happened. And that, you know, he kind of just allowed Sub-Zero to take control of the clan and do what he did to corrupt the clan. So that's basically what happened. So this story's gonna be really focused around that kind of concept, I believe. But I think it's interesting. Okay. I like all the new special moves we're seeing, like the net that sends the opponent across the screen, the new special move for Sub-Zero where it turns you into a clone, and then when they hit you, they get frozen. Which I like that. I like that new cameo special move. I think it's pretty sick. Yeah, then that little rolling ball into a pop-up. These moves are sick, dude. Like, and it's just so MK9 like Cyrax. I think I love it with all the bomb setups and traps. I think it's freaking sick.
I was wrong, thinking you worthy of that armor. You are my instructor and my commander. Don't confuse that with being my superior. My speed and skill are beyond you.
I kind of want to talk about this scene here with the way that they're fighting. We got Cyrax still running on the run from Sektor. I think she just left the Lin Kuei here, and she's trying to escape. And I just like the way that they made this scene with Sektor's camouflage slowly falling apart. Oh my god, it's so sick. And then like we get the you know, we get the sense that she betrayed the Lin Kuei, and like Sektor is pissed off about it. She's like, you know, maybe I made a mistake with giving you that armor and thinking you were worthy of it. And Cyrax is just like, you know, you may be my instructor, but you know, that doesn't mean you're my better. And Cyrax just puts hands on her. And the choreography here is really pretty sick too. I really like it. He just jump kick, bam. I can't wait to see Sektor's gameplay too.
Finish him.
brutality makes me laugh. I think it's so weak that they cut off the animality right towards the end of it. So, but yeah, so we learned some things in this this trailer towards the story that I'm gonna update the story that I think is gonna happen so far, because like obviously we got Cyrax's part now, and we know what's gonna happen with what you call it, what's we kind of like get a first idea of like what the first act is gonna be like, because I assume it's gonna open up with Cyrax's story and how Cyrax left the Linkway to go find Kuai Liang. That's kind of my guess, but whatever. What do you guys think about what we've seen so far? Like, has this like given you a better opinion on the new Cyrax? Because like I'm not gonna lie, like low key, I'm starting to like the idea of you know, of a female Cyrax, just because like I think that it's an interesting kind of concept they're going, especially in terms of the storytelling. But I'm sure there, you know, people are gonna be still fighting against it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, it's a game, you know. Even though it's Mortal Kombat 1, like I really care. I really like. But at the end of the day, like I think it's just they're trying to take a different approach with these characters, and I think that they feel like, you know, in order to like really get like some good storytelling, they need to like back away from like the original stories, which I think is. I don't know if that's the best idea, but I'm not gonna lie, I like the story so far that's being told, and we'll see how it pays off. But at the end of the day, if the payoff is good, I think people will end up coming around. But like I said, you know, the whole gender swap thing is gonna pull some people away from it. But at the end of the day, like if they pull a good story off with this DLC, I think people will like let it slide pretty much. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown. Like I said, I'm gonna have an updated story for what I think the story is gonna be. Probably later tonight. If not tonight, like I said, it'll be tomorrow. But that's gonna do it for me today. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.